I have a guest with me tonight. I never, ever, ever tell people who's coming on the show, ever. And I have done this week.
Okay.
And it's been mentioned a number of times. And I didn't even panic that you weren't going to show. Because we do have our very own living legend here in the studio. And that's not an exaggeration, is it? You're officially a legend.
Oh, thank you very much, Christine. It's very nice of you to say so.
Well, if you're not officially a legend, then somebody's going to get you under trade descriptions
Exactly.
next month.
Exactly.
I've got George Duncan in the studio. The real George Duncan. No imitations accepted. How are you?
I'm fine, Christine. How are you?
I'm very well.
Nice to meet you.
And you too. The camera doesn't work. It was fine. Nobody saw that.
Doesn't it? Thank goodness for that.
I was told you were charming. Yes, you haven't disappointed.
It's a start.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to be finding out heaps about George over the next 2 hours or so, after we have heard his next track, which is Still the One by Orleans. Here we go. Let's hear it now.
All the
wasn't it? Yes,
Great
that was
number.
that was one for getting up and dancing around your handbag too.
So I haven't got a handbag, Christine. Let me point that out. I have no handbag.
This is radio. I can paint any picture I like.
It's a good picture. I still play that song every weekend.
You do?
And I have done for the last 20 years. I just think it's a great
Yeah.
number. Great song.
Now, tell me, I didn't come of age in Aberdeen,
Sure.
so I have never seen you do your stuff live.
Okay.
So, tell me, what kind are you? The kind of artist that people sit quietly and listen to and pay attention to?
I probably would not think so. No.
Okay,
No.
right. So you are the guy that gets people out of their seats and dancing around
I
their
would hope
handbags.
so, Christine. I would hope so. That's been the kind of thing over the years. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You've been everywhere, haven't you?
I have. I've been really lucky to do what I do and have been the places I've been doing what I do. So I have no complaints. If I had the chance to do it all again, I think that's a title of a song, I would do it all again. It's just been really great over the last... I've been doing this for 40 odd years, since I was 14, 15 years old, and never actually stopped. I've never had a weekend off in 47 years. I've worked every Saturday, every weekend, and obviously other jobs 6-7 nights a week. So it's my life. It's what I do. It's who I am, and I'm just very lucky that I can do that. You know.
Were you born in Aberdeen, George?
I was born and brought up in Torry. That's the west end of Aberdeen, if you don't know.
Oh, I know where Torry is.
That's good. That's good.
I knew where Torry was before I knew where a lot of other
I
places
was brought
were.
up in Aiken's Rolls. So that's made me the man that I am.
You're looking well on it.
Thank you.
You're
Just
looking...
about a bit of a midriff here, but that's all the rolls over the years.
Yeah, okay, listen, there's midriffs and midriffs. Yours doesn't count. That's just...
I'm
that's
holding
just
it
not
in,
your-
Christine. I'm holding
Is that
it
what
in.
it is?
Oh, yes.
Right,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
You... Whereabouts in Torry did you stay? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, I was brought up in Menzies Road
Yeah.
in Torry.
Do you know...
Don't tell me, you lived upstairs from...
No, I didn't. But I did do a lot of work when I came here initially, a long, long time ago, in Torry Advice Centre, which was on Menzies Road.
Of course it was.
Um,
yes.
And I was one of the volunteers in there a few lifetimes back. So Menzies Road has a soft spot in my heart.
Well, strange thing is, Christine, I can remember with my brother actually visiting back to the house that we were kids in and were brought up and born in, really. And you remember these things as massive places and back gardens and stuff. It's just tiny. There was 4 of us that lived there. I think I slept in a drawer when I was born.
Yeah.
And there was just no room. It was incredible. But good times were lived. Menzies Road was the main thoroughfare out of Aberdeen and into Aberdeen. And I always have a recollection. My mother used to be absolutely frightened because you were on the main road, if you like.
Of
you
course,
you went out
yeah.
the house and
You stepped out the door at Main Road.
exactly. And then across the road from there, if that wasn't enough to worry about, the River Dee was another 50 yards past that. So school holidays and stuff when we were kids was a troubled time for my mum, you know.
At least if you were at school, she knew where you were.
Exactly. We were kind of safe.
Yeah.
We're kind of safe.
Do you have happy memories of being a child, or
absolutely.
was it tough times?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sure it was tough times for Mum and Dad, but they certainly never let us knew that. No, not tough times at all. I have great memories, great happy memories. And, I mean, it's changed completely now. I mean, we lived in a tenement, there were maybe 8 families, and probably 4 to each family, so you had like 30, 40 people living in a tenement block. And you've heard this, it's a cliche, nobody locked doors and stuff. Well, they didn't. And I never had an inside toilet till I was about 28, you know. And it was all these kind of things. I've got no regret, fond memories of being brought up in Torry. And to me, I always feel it's quite a good grounding because I'm aware of where I come from and who I come from, and I'm always aware of that. And these people were hard-working people and good people.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way to start off your young life. And you have these older people that are you kind of respect and that teach you things and stuff. It's nice, and I've got great memories.
Did you have a lot of extended family round about you?
Well, I think because of the time it was, I was born in 1952, so extended family were your neighbours in those days, because everybody kind of looked after everyone else. I can't remember an extended family, nearest and dearest, if you like, just my brother and Mum and Dad there. But
the reason I asked was because at that time people didn't move as much.
That's
and
right.
You tended to have your aunties and your uncles and your granny round about, you know,
That's
maybe not
right.
next door,
That's right.
but they weren't that far away.
they weren't that far away, but they certainly weren't in Menzies Road
Right.
and so forth. And I think, if I remember right, it's going back so long, I think my kind of dad's parents, or my grandparents, my dad's side, they'd gone before I had come on the scene, so I never kind of knew them. But no, I've got great memories. In fact, I don't know if you're like this, Christine, as well. You know, tastes and smells and stuff, they evoke memories in your head. And every time I cross the bridge to go to Torry, it just, you know, the smell and just the feel of the place, it just takes you back 50 years, you know, and you go, goodness me.
Because there's been a lot of changes in Torry,
Certainly
but
has.
actually the shape of it hasn't changed
No,
that
the shape-
much.
no, it's exactly the
Victoria
same.
Road and
Yes.
Menzies Road are much the same as
They are.
they've always been.
Yes, yeah. And I can remember, I mean, nowadays it's kind of, I think a lot of Polish people live in Torry now, and a lot of Polish shops and so forth, which is great. It gives the place a nice feel and a nice mix. But it was a very insular place before, you know. People that were born and brought up in Torry hardly ever left
Yes.
the place. Everything was there. Everything that you needed was next door. It was individually owned shops and so forth, a chip shop, a newsagent, a baker. And it's all these things that you remember. And speaking about Aiken's rolls, it's just so strange. That's never changed. The kind of bags that you get the Aiken's rolls in, it's been the same design that I can remember for 57 years. It's never changed. And I'm sure they maybe got halfway through, up to 30 years, and somebody in their marketing department went, well, we'll have to get this up to date and stuff. No, leave it.
Do you know, that must have taken a great deal of bravery to do that, just to stick with it, because folk just change things sometimes for the sake of it.
I know, if it's working, just leave it, you know, leave
Yeah.
it. That's my kind of philosophy as well.
So you went to school in Torry, obviously.
Yes, went to Walker Road Primary School, and then it was 11 plus in those days. Was your exams and so forth. So lo and behold, my brother and I both, it was 11 plus. We both passed the 11 plus and went to Torry School for secondary school for 6 months, and then went to grammar school.
Right.
Which we kind of wasted our time there, because you know, it was there to get O-levels and higher, and you could be there till you're 18. Both my brother and I didn't do the full course. I couldn't wait to get out of school. I couldn't wait. I just couldn't get my head around the thing. And in those days, the grammar school was a boys-only school, and the lower primary school was a fee-paying school. So it was very, very much still... what's the word?
Very select.
Yes, exactly. And kind of us guys from Torry, it wasn't really the place for us. We were used to different things, and I don't think they were kind of ready for us. And it was rugby. It wasn't football. It was. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I couldn't wait to get out the door. And I can remember chucking my school bag, walking down Skene Street on the last day. In fact, I think I was one of the only ones. I think I left school when I was 14, and that was well after it was the time for leaving school at 14.
Right.
Normally, the leaving age would be 15 or 16. And and of course, being the grammar school, it wasn't a headmaster, it was a rector. You see, so I had muted that I wanted to leave at the end of term when I was 15. So I was called in by the rector, and he used to have this huge report book that had all your reports, from the time you started grammar school and so forth. And he said, "Oh, you're looking to leave at the end of term, Duncan," as he used to call me. So he had a look through the big report book, and he says, "Judge by looking at your report book," he says, "just leave now. Don't wait till the end of term," and closed the book. And I went, yes. And I can remember walking down Skene Street and turfing my bag.
Yeah. That's amazing, because that's quite a cruel thing to say to a young person. And there are many young people, I think, who would have been devastated by somebody just completely writing them off.
Here's
like
another
that.
that's just come to mind, Christina, and this never leaves me. Because my brother and I both attended grammar school, it was an expensive school to put your kids to at that time. Uniforms, there was 3 of everything. Rugby kits, there were 3. It had to be special kind of swimming trunks for everything cost a fortune, and our mum and dad didn't have the money, you know. And I can remember my mum having to go up to grammar school. Somebody had, I think probably my brother, had stolen his blazer, if you like, which was, I think you won't know this because you don't come from Aberdeen. There was a couple of shops in Aberdeen, very expensive shops, that these were the only shops that sold grammar school blazers. Esselmint, Macintosh, Watton Grant and so forth, and they were expensive. And same rector, and he kind of maintained, my mum's made the special trip to find out where this blazer has gone, and it probably took her months to save up the money to buy my brother the blazer and me, and he was kind of indifferent and went, "This happens all the time, Mrs. Duncan." Well, maybe to you and maybe to other parents, but you know, that was the kind of attitude, and I just kind of hated it, you know.
So you got out of there when you were 14. You had an early escape.
I did.
And what did you do with your time after that?
I had no idea at the time what I wanted to do. All I knew that I wanted to do was not be at school. So obviously your parents have an influence on you, and they would like you to get a safe and secure job, you know, that would last for the lifetime and that kind of thing. But because it was the 60s and stuff, kind of times were changing, and there wasn't that kind of attitude from young people, you know. And I think the first job I did was I started serving my time as I always wanted to serve my time as an electrician for some reason, because I always thought they had the nicest overalls, and they didn't get so dirty as plumbers. But the place that I went to for the job was as an apprentice electrician, but the job had been taken, and the only thing left was the apprentice plumber job, which I just went, oh God, no. And it was kind of like that for a year maybe. Did that, didn't like that, because I'm standing watching electricians do their job, and that's the job I wanted, so I was never going to be happy anyway. So it ended up, I joined the post office, and I was a telegram boy. Did that that was the greatest job in the world for a young boy. It was absolutely brilliant. Great times. I think at that time there would have been about 12 messengers that worked in the post office, and things did change a little bit later on, but at the time it's still the standard motorcycle was a BSA Bantam 125, and this was a great job, you know, 6 days a week, going out on a motorbike.
Do you know, I'm smiling because there are at least 2 generations of people who have no idea what a telegram was. Exactly,
that's right. And the interesting thing about a telegram, it was always associated with bad news, if you would remember that. And I can remember situations going up and knocking at a door. They would open the door and see it was you and just close it again because they were frightened.
You just didn't want to know what you had to tell them.
It's bad news, you know. But it was great because you had kind of carte blanche. You could go anywhere on a post office motorbike, if you like, because it was a kind of important thing. And I can remember taking a motorcycle up the railway station platform for a telegram for somebody that's on a train going to somewhere. So it was the Crown Street post office was only like 2 minutes up the road, and you'd shoot down the road 50 mile an hour into the station, in amongst other people, up the platform to get this telegram. That was great. It was great. Yeah.
Tell me, did the telegram boys know what was in the telegram, or were you just handed an envelope and told where to deliver it?
Both, actually, because at the time it was kind of telex time. These messages used to come through in like ticker
tape.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the telegraphist would quickly rip off the bits and sentences, stick them at a piece of paper, and that was the telegram. We would often see them making them up, but the majority of them would just come through basically a hatch, and you'd be booked out maybe 3 telegram boys at a time to go to different parts of Aberdeen and district and so forth. It was an exciting job for a young kid.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I loved every minute of it.
For those of you who don't know, a telegram would have been the equivalent now of probably a text.
Exactly.
But they were expensive, and they were only sent on very, very, very special occasions, because you had to phone the operator with your message, and they took down your message and typed it out on this ticker tape.
That's
which
right.
which they then ripped off, stuck it down to a bit of paper, folded it over, and you really only got a telegram. People would get telegrams when they get married.
That's right. Greetings.
That's
telegrams,
right.
That's right.
They would get nice telegrams when they get married, or if somebody died, you would get a telegram to say that they died. And that's an awful way to find out somebody died,
really.
especially before our time, but during the war, that was how people found out that that their family members had died. So you were at a telegram at the time when telegrams were kind of on their way out.
That's right. It was just the what do you call it? Just a period of time where it was changing from that, and the telegram, the motorbikes were never renewed after that, and then it got to the stage. I'm just trying to remember exactly what was the change and what happened after that. So I think once we got to the age of 18, we went into the sorting office and drove mail vans and stuff.
Right.
And God, I'm just trying to remember what was the alternative to the telegram. Goodness me. I can't think. I'll probably remember halfway through. The interesting thing was as well, it was wonderful, and when it came up to winter time in Aberdeen, there would be a certain point where the bikes would be taken off the road because the weather was so bad. But getting up to that point where that was to happen was real scary because you'd obviously no control of the weather. You'd have all the oilskins and whatever on, but you go out there and it starts snowing, it starts getting icy, and all you ever did was pick one another off the ground because you kept sliding about, falling down, and accidents here, hospital. Oh, George's in the hospital he's broken this and broken that. And the alternative was, it was so funny, the post office used to issue you plastic bus tokens, and you have to go on our corporation buses to deliver the same telegrams. But on a bike it would take, quarter of the time. You would go out with half a dozen telegrams, you'd disappear for the whole day because it took so long, and so much funny stories. We used to...
I don't think much has changed now if you're waiting for buses.
It's true.
Sorry, that was very bad.
True.
It's a personal opinion and not the opinion of Shmu.
And it wasn't unusual in the summertime for us to kind of end up down at the beach at the fun fair, in between delivering, so you're away for an hour and a half. You've got the half hour to do what you want to do. And I can remember one particular occasion, right? This is on the full post office uniform, crash helmet, the lot. I'm on the big wheel going round, right? I'm checking the watch. I've got 10 minutes. I'm okay. I've got 10 minutes, and it goes and stops because it's broken down. So you've got a telegram box at the top of the big wheel that can I get off to get back to the post office, and the bike sitting there. And this is the kind of stuff that happened. It was absolutely crazy. You would get all these kind of stories. It was great fun. It really was.
Have you ever thought of writing them all down?
I have actually.
Confessions of a Telegram
Goodness,
Boy.
be a big book. My brother's done that actually. He's very much, his philosophy is his memoirs, if you like. Once he puts it down in paper, he's able to remember very quickly what happened, rather than trying to think of it first and write something down. And he always maintains, I've got a wonderful memory, and probably half or 3/4 of the stuff that he's written down, he phones me first. Do you remember? Yes.
Yeah. So you have the memoirs written down, or just not in your name?
Correct.
There you go.
That's my brother's version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time, you would have still been interested in music. You were saying that you've been playing live every weekend since you were about 14.
That's right.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. There was no. It wasn't a musical family, if you like. There were no instruments. There wasn't a piano in the house, anything like that. I don't know where it actually come from. Maybe the end of the 50s, and I was only young at that time, so the rock and roll thing had started and it was well on its way by that time. But the time that I was really listening to music was Beatles time when it kind of hit me. And prior to that, going back to Menzies Road, I think I told Paul this story when I was in chatting to him. At the top of Menzies Road, there used to be a little turn-off called Craig Place, and there was a small Italian ice cream factory there run by a local Italian family, and they'd been there for years. And it was obviously sold ice cream, but they made the ice cream there as well. But they had this wonderful jukebox, which I'd never seen in my life before. I was fascinated with this thing. And if ever I could, if there was I think it was God, it's old money, a threepenny, but I think it took a threepenny, a sixpence, and a shilling, and you got one tune for threepence, 2 tunes for sixpence, and five
for a shilling.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh gosh.
And that was the first time I'd ever heard an actual record being played. And it was, I remember it was Johnny and the Hurricanes, Red River Rock, and I couldn't get that tune out of my head. And every time I was never buying fags or illicitly smoking or going over and back. It was always up to this place and get the money in the jukebox and let's hear this music. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it started from. And then it's primary school. You had access to instruments and so forth. So I was kind of in my element there. And choir things, anything to do with that. Church we had to go to as well. I was a member of the Boys Brigade. And again, you were encouraged to do these things, Boys Brigade band and so forth. So,
so did you play a bugle in the Boys Brigade
I didn't.
band?
I played drums.
Did you?
Yes, because they made the most noise.
True.
Well, I kind of said to my mum, "You've got a choice: bugle, drums. This is a bugle, and this is we'll have the drums." So I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Let's have some more music
Yes.
and give your voice a break. Your next track that you've chosen is Butterfly Kisses.
Yes, this is a wonderful song, and it's the words that, for many years, I didn't particularly listen to lyrics. It was the music that did it for me. But in latter years, it's the lyrics that get me, and both together, it's the whole package, isn't it? A good tune is a good tune is a good tune, and I admire a lot people who can write songs, and some of the songs that some of these guys and girls have written are just absolutely wonderful. They're stupendous. This particular song, I've got 2 sons, and I used to, I had particular songs for them when they were kids, and I always maintained, I don't have a daughter. If I had a daughter, this would be the song that I would sing to her, because it's got every sentiment I would think that a dad would have for his daughter, you know. And folks out there, if you're listening to this one, if you're not crying after this finish, you have no soul.
Let's hear it.
Oh, not that one.
Yep. Not that one. It's not 5, it's 2.
Number 5 it is. No, I beg your pardon, it's 2. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Try again.
That's the one.
There's 2 things I know for sure. She was sent here from heaven, and she's Daddy's little girl. As I drop to my knees by her bed at night, she talks to Jesus, and I close my eyes, and I thank God for all of the joy in my life. Oh, but most of all, for butterfly kisses after bedtime prayers, sticking little white flowers all up in her hair. Walk beside the pony, Dad, it's my first ride. I know the cake looks funny, Dad, but I sure tried. But with all that I've done wrong, I must have done something right to deserve a hug every morning and butterfly kisses at night. Sweet 16 today, looking like her mama a little more every day. One part woman, the other part girl. To perfume and makeup, from ribbons and curls, trying her wings out in a great big world. But I remember butterfly kisses. She'll change her name today. She'll make a promise, and I'll give her away. Standing in the bride room, just staring at her. She asked me what I'm thinking. I said I'm not sure. I just feel like I'm losing my baby girl. And she leaned over and gave me butterfly kisses with her mama there, sticking little white flowers all up in her hair. Walk me down the aisle, Dad, it's just about time, 'cause my wedding gown looks pretty, Dad. Daddy, don't cry. With all that I've done wrong, I must have done something right to deserve her love every morning and butterfly kisses for life.
You're listening to Shmu FM on 99.8 FM.
You most certainly are. You are listening to Christine Herron, looking at life with a positive slant, with my guest, George Duncan, who, that was Butterfly Kisses, and you were saying how much you admire people who can write songs. You've written one or two yourself, haven't you?
I have, Christine, but I kind of started late on in life with the songwriting thing. I couldn't quite work out in my own head how you went about it. And I know that sounds strange from a musician, but I think I just found it difficult to focus. But I've realised how it is done, really, and it is hard work, and you have to sit down, focus on the thing, and it can take anything from half an hour to a week to a fortnight. You'll struggle with one line. For instance, the song about the beach ballroom, there's not a lot that rhymes with beach. You know, I had to look through the dictionary, so I struggled with that for a while. But if you sit down and you treat it like a job of work, and it really is, it can be torture sometimes. But the words when I come, you know, and it depends. Sometimes the music comes first. Sometimes you have an idea for a lyric or a theme, and it takes on its own kind of life as while you're writing it, and it can be very difficult, emotional, and you go away and you leave it for a time, you come back to it, and other ones just come very quickly, you know. But I've found it much easier in later life to write songs than I did when I was young.
Maybe that's because you know more.
I was just going to say that. You're absolutely right, and I think that's what it is. It's an experience in life, and it's kind of dawned on me after all these years, you know, that I have something in my mind or in my brain to write about, you know. And you feel, and I can remember feeling that when I was a lot younger. I really haven't got the justification to be writing things about this and that, because I haven't lived a life, if you like, you know. And you have great experiences in life, bad experiences, but they're all experiences. And the important thing, they all add to your kind of makeup or your personality and affect you in different ways. And I'm just have great admiration for, and there's some wonderful songwriters out there. So if I can come anywhere close to these guys, I'll be happy, you know.
Yeah. Are you a perfectionist?
I suppose I am, really, yes.
Okay.
You're kind of hard on yourself, yes, definitely. Very much so with the music thing. I think if you would ask anybody that I've worked with, they would kind of say that, but in the nicest kind of way, a compliment, really. It is to me. It has to. There's only one way to do it, and it's got to be the right way, not my way. Essentially, that's selfish. That's a different thing, and there's nothing can be perfect. But if you can work to achieve the best that you can do, that's the best that you can do.
Yeah.
And, that's what it's all about.
You're going to sing something for us now. Is it going to be one of your own?
No.
Nope.
This won't be one of my own ones. This is a song that I originally heard by. It was originally done by the Isley Brothers, but Don Henley, a great songwriter, Eagles. Don Henley, he's written some great songs, and this was one that he did. But originally an Isley Brothers number, a great funky tune, and it's one of these things. If you know, it's like Jimmy Shand, as I said to you. If you can't get up and dance to this, there's something wrong with you. But we're only doing an acoustic guitar, so hopefully
We're only doing it in acoustic.
Well,
this is George Duncan unplugged.
Oh, this is it.
There you go.
Lady luck in a four-leaf clover won't seem to hurt till I feel I love her. Only fit the special occasion, wanna fit in the situation, standing on shaky ground. Ever since you put me down, on shaky ground. Ever since you put me down, my car got repossessed this morning. Heart attack I haven't had in years. Maybe want a life preserver, as I bathe the ground in my own tears, standing on the shaky ground. Ever since you put me down, standing on the shaky ground. Ever since you put me down. Woo! Standing on shaky ground. Standing on the shaky ground. Shaky ground.
Do you know, I was listening to you there and wondering why you are not one of our artists of the week. And I think you need to submit some of your stuff. If you are out there and you are a local artist.
Are you in a band based in Aberdeen? Do you wish that your band's music was heard by a wider audience? If so, Shmu wants to hear from you. We're looking to feature a different local band or artist every week on the station. So send your music and a bit about yourselves to music@shmu.org.uk. Shmu FM, your community station, committed to supporting local music.
There you go. If you are a local artist and you would like your music showcased on Shmu, then send it to Naomi and she will do the business. And you'll hear it every morning, every afternoon and every evening here on Shmu FM.
It's a great idea, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a good idea.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
You very obviously enjoy the music.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, just watching you listen to the CDs playing, you can't sit still, and it's like it's there. It's got
Christine,
to be done.
I've enjoyed dancing with you. I've enjoyed dancing with you. It's only us two. Nobody sees
Absolutely.
us.
No, nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's absolutely fine. You were saying that you didn't tell me where you learned to play.
Basically, I think first instrument was guitar. My
Was that before or after the drums?
This was after and probably between the bugle as well.
Okay.
So it was a kind of noisy household.
Uh-huh.
I think there was accordion involved as well. There may have been spoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I can remember my brother had joined the Air Force and he was leaving to go to Cyprus. And he owned a small acoustic guitar, just like the kind of thing I've been playing. And he kind of, big brother handed over to little brother, I'll show you these chords. I'll show you 3, because I'm back in 2.5 years. And if you've learned them, I'll show you another 2. And Bill went off to the RF. I think he went to Cyprus. And by the time he came back, well, when he left, I think I was maybe 13. And I never left the house for about 2 years. And I practiced, I just got totally into the whole thing. And by the time Bill come back, I was playing with a band and semi-professionally and getting paid for it. Mm-hmm. So there was no kind of in between, if you like. I was determined, I was totally focused, this is what I want to do. And I can remember standing, watching various people, and I go, that's a great job, I want to do this. And probably some of the local bands in Aberdeen at the time, and it was just amazed me, and it just went into my brain. This is what I have to do, and I didn't know at the time how that would kind of work out. But the guitar, that was the first thing, and it was great. And because it was that time in the 60s, electric guitar and so forth, became prevalent, and that opened a whole new bunch of sounds that you could produce and so forth, and effects pedals and Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton. So it was a whole bunch of, you were being bombarded with all these new sounds. I have to do that, and that's how that kind of started. and originally a guitar player. I learned to play keyboards and so forth after that. Bruce Miller's that are still in Aberdeen, at that time, they weren't in Union Street, they used to have a shop in Loch Street, and they used to sell. I was fascinated with these double manual organs with bass pedals. So every limb did something. Your right hand played the top manual, the keyboard, your left hand played the chords, your left foot played the bass pedals, and your right foot operated the volume. So it was kind of going like this, you know. Just physically to actually do the thing was difficult, but did that as well, and that was great. I still play keyboards up to this day. So
Yeah.
but no, I'm not formally taught. In fact, I hated music at school because I just thought it was totally boring. I think I went to guitar lessons or piano lessons. Did not interest me at all. The theoretical thing and scales. All I wanted to do was find out how you do these tricks, and because basically that's kind of what it was all about. Scales are fine, and practicing and building up speed and so forth. This is all good, but how does he play that? If I had a teacher that could have shown me how Elvis Presley's guitarist or George Harrison with the Beatles played the intro for that, that's what I wanted to learn. And no interest in scales, reading notes and so forth. Now, looking back, it was probably to do the both of them would have been the ideal situation if you could sight read and be a good busker and have a good ear. But I trained my ear to be, because it was the only thing I had, because I couldn't read. I had to learn parrot fashion, if you like, and it became easy for me because you develop that skill because you haven't got the other skill to be able to read. And
Is it easier if you can read music?
no, it's not for the kind of music that we do. It doesn't help at all because most of your the root stuff, blues and rock and roll, all that came from. It's got nothing to do with notes and stuff. It's a feeling and a kind of vibe, and you can't write that down. I've asked about this of people that I've worked with that can you write down? How do you write down a guitarist bending a string? And they've had to do something because there's lots of that going on. But you can't write down the feeling. You can't write down that, in this, if you're writing out a Jimi Hendrix guitar part, you just can't write down what's coming out of his head. You can write down the notes, but you'll hear a wonderful musician that's sight reading, for example, a Jimi Hendrix part, sound nothing like it.
Yeah.
He'll play the notes, but there's nothing else there. It's a feeling. It's from here, your heart transfers first from your brain to here, and then comes out in your fingers. And that's why people like that with instruments of that ilk can communicate directly with people. You don't have to say or sing to them. They can do this. That's what makes it a magical thing. They can connect with people with an instrument, how they play it.
Do you know, I think I saw that in action once, just once. And it was, oh gosh, it was in a little pub off of Market Street.
Yeah.
Was it the Bridge,
There's a
the
few.
Bridge Bar? The Bridge Bar?
Bridge Bar is not a Market Street, but in Bridge Street.
No.
Different one.
No. This is one that's between. There's a wee lane between the Douglas Hotel and what used to be Citizens Advice.
Yes.
There's a wee pub up there.
Yes.
Well, they used to have an open mic there, and I remember watching a couple. They were just young boys, and this young lad drew a picture in the air, and I didn't pay any attention until a couple of minutes later when the band played the picture he drew.
Really?
And it was like, wow. And did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
And
It's interesting.
and it wasn't that he drew notes. He drew the picture and they played
The picture.
And I think what he was probably drawing was the beat or the feeling or
Yes.
whatever. And they just did it. I've had a question sent in. I've had a couple of questions sent in. And the first one is, who inspires you as a live guitarist, recently or in the past, that you've seen live?
Goodness me. Well, that's easy to answer. My son Gary and I went down to Glasgow 3 weeks ago to see Jeff Beck, guitar player extraordinaire. And amongst other people, he would be one of the best going. So he's an inspiration, and I had this is the story about this. I had a white Fender Stratocaster, which coincidentally Jeff Beck uses is his iconic guitar, if you like. And just at the time when Gary and I are sitting at the concert at the SECC, he's out playing, and I've just said to Gary, like a day beforehand, or I think I already had put it in for sale. Got to get rid of it, because I used to take it out, play it, take it back home, and I would leave it for 6 months, and then never was quite comfortable with it, and let's get rid of it, and well, I can get something else. So I've just kind of sold, I had sold it by that time. I'd sold the guitar, and Gary and I sitting watching Jeff Beck, and then we turned round to one another, and he says to me, "Are you sure you've done the right thing?" And listening to how he was playing, I'm going, probably not. And because of it was the same kind of guitar. But he's an inspirational player, and we came back home. I'd intended to buy a different brand guitar, if you like, but found it very difficult to acquire one of these. It was just proven difficult, and that kind of says to me, you're not being allowed to get this guitar. And then I got a phone call from my son again the next day. "Dad, have a look at this ad that's just went into the local paper. It's a Jeff Beck signature model Fender Strat for sale." God, that's a coincidence.
There's no such thing.
I'll phone the number. And I phoned the number, and I know the guy that was selling it, because he would be well known to local musicians. And I said, "Well, this is very strange." And I went over and I just had a look at it, and this looks like the kind of thing very much similar to the one I'd sold. But I said, "I've got to play this guitar," and which I did the same night. I was able to go down, put through the equipment that I normally play with, and it just felt a completely different instrument from the very similar one that I just sold. And I went, Jeff Beck, a couple of weeks ago, sold one that I thought that I liked. No, I've got another one. I've been trying to get this other guitar for 5 weeks from the States. The managing director's been on from the factory. Can't understand why. I'll get one for you. I'll make sure you get one. And it ended up that we've ended up with this Jeff Beck signature Strat. So I'm delighted.
Yeah,
absolutely delighted. Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah,
it's all in the air.
Absolutely. I've also got to ask you, what does the name Double Take mean to you?
Double Take means something new for me. I know who that question's from. Gary and I, my son, he plays in his own band. He plays with a band called Fifth Avenue, and they've been working the circuit here for maybe 12 years now. Right. I can remember the day that he started. He's one of the founder members of the band. I've had a few changes in personnel through that time, but Gary's been there since day one. And we've done, because we seem to be both working at the same time every week, we'll never get a kind of chance to come together and do stuff together. And which has always been a kind of, not a bone of contention, but I would love to do some things with him, because it's just, I beg your pardon, it's just one of these things that we never ever seem to get round to. We've done 2 or 3 things in the past, and it's always been great fun, and we've both enjoyed it. And I got a phone call from a friend of mine that runs a place in Port Lethen that I've played for many moons ago in the venue, and he asked us, could you do a gig for us in January, George? I said, yes. And then he emailed back. He says, even better, could you and Gary do a gig? I said, God, that's a great idea. And again, you don't think, because you're out doing your own thing separately. And so the Double Take thing is the is the name that I'll correct that. Not we came up with, Gary came up with, for our duo for that gig. So we'll do our. You were speaking about perfectionists. We'll spend a good few weeks before the gig. It's only a pub, but it's important.
You'll spend Christmas.
We will.
Yep, practicing. Well, that answers the next question. Where and when can we see them?
That will be happening on Friday, the 28th of January. Mm-hmm. Gary and I will be at the Paddock in Portlethen. The Paddock at Portlethen on Friday the 20th. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's actually the fun bit for me as well is getting the thing ready, because no doubt we'll be busy doing other things and doing our own thing, but we'll have to come together to do this, and that's a nice thing to do. Because if Gary turns up at a gig that I'm doing, I always like to get him up to do something, and he returns that to me, and it's just nice to do it.
Yeah. And another question, just because I'm nosy, who's the Marybelle Posse?
The Marybelle Posse? I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Well, I would imagine that's where I'm from, so it would probably be the nearest and dearest, I would think. Not unless someone else from Marybelle is on the blower. As I don't like telling too much people I live in a caravan site, you know.
Oh, right, okay.
We're kind of gypsies, our family, you know. We'll roam
I'll
about.
believe you. Thousands wouldn't. Cheers, Gary. I hope that answered all your questions.
Looking forward to it.
You've got a gig coming up before then. You've got one coming up at the beginning of December.
Yes. Obviously, we're doing this Aberdeen Legends show, which I absolutely love doing. It's been a great feeling. We've started doing them probably 3 years ago, and since then they've just become more polished, better and better, because we're working to achieve that. If it's something new, and it's again this perfectionist thing, if it's worth doing, let's do it as best as we can. And I'm 57, I'm the youngest one out the five, you know. So we should all count our blessings in a way, because we still can fill a venue. We've all got our individual following, if you like, and collectively it's quite a strong thing. And
it's not just a venue; it's the Beach Ballroom, isn't it? Wow!
And I knew this would kind of happen. I said to the guys 3 months ago, we've done the Beach Ballroom as the Aberdeen Legends show. Possibly, I think this is the fourth one coming up. And because it was done a different way, we've done loads of stuff at the Beach Ballroom in years gone by, fundraisers and so forth. Always done in a different way. It was organised by a particular person and whatever. But when that sort of stopped, the management of the Beach Ballroom came on to me and said, can we do something similar, not the same, whatever you feel that would work, and we will. The Beach Ballroom will do the marketing and they will book us and so forth. So it was slightly different way of doing things, and it's taken, which I knew it would, and I'm glad it happened that way. First one was a decent kind of crowd, the second one was better, the third, and I knew 6 months ago that this Sunday, the 5th of December, was going to be a sellout. And I said it 6 months ago, and I knew 3 months ago, when the tickets were just about to, I was asked by so many people and emails and Facebook and so forth, and I just had the feeling this is going to be a good one. And knowing that, I kind of made, what's the word? I was looking at, we recorded a live DVD 25 years ago. It was the first fundraiser at the Beach Ballroom that we ever did. It was for a special nursery appeal. It was in 1986, and I always said, sometime in the future we'll make another live DVD with the same guys, but we were 25 years older, which would be nice. Because if we did get the DVD done at this show, we'll probably never ever get it done because we all want to be there for some reason or another. So I had made kind of inquiries with various production companies that would be able to do a live DVD at the Beach Ballroom, because the Beach Ballroom would be the venue to do it. And it's just so happened that's all come together. So that's happening on the 5th as well. And we've now got a full house, so there'll be an atmosphere without a doubt that will come across on the finished kind of product, and it's something we should have done before, but I'm glad it didn't happen before, because this is the one that'll count, if you like, you know.
Yeah, you're ready for it now.
Absolutely ready for it, and looking forward to the 5th so much. We've been rehearsing for it. We have another Legend show prior to that, the D Club in Gerrard Street. That's when's that? That's on the 26th of November, which is a Friday. So we're kind of...
It's next Friday.
It
Not
is.
this Friday coming.
Yes,
next
exactly.
Friday.
It's very close. And it's handy because we always kind of... The show's put in place for the Beach Ballroom, and we always have a chance to run through it because we have a Legend show very quickly before that. And I kind of book it that way because it gives us the live thing, and it gives us a run through, and it gets us ready for the big one, if you like, you know.
So tell me, who are the other legends?
The other legends, they are legends in their own right. They've made their own mark in Aberdeen over the years. We have Ali Dawson, Sandy Davidson, Tommy Dean, and Eddie Corbett. And they've all had their own bands in the past and so forth, had their own following. And I think the novel thing is the coming together of the five of us in one place at one time and doing something collectively. Because I would like to think I could stand in the Beach Ballroom as George Duncan and have a full house. But this is a different thing. You kind of know that people will turn up, and I've said the Beach Ballroom management, they say this is the easiest show that we do to sell because it sells itself.
It sells itself,
It does, and it's great. I always take a stack of tickets, and I just know because you have different gigs, and people are always asking, "Have you got tickets? Have you got tickets?" And yes, I've got tickets. Here you go, and it's been great. It's great, and they've sold out faster than they've ever sold out before. And it's a nice feeling that you know maybe 3 weeks prior to you being there that the thing's fully sold out. So it gives you that lift as well, because you know you're going on to something. And being filmed as well, it just adds that extra dimension to it as well. So I'm really looking forward to it.
It's absolutely brilliant that you've had a sellout, because in the current financial climate, I mean, I do another show on a Friday, and we promote lots of artistic stuff that's going on, and it's all good stuff, and yet people find it difficult to fill venues now. People find it difficult to go out, or if they go out, you know. So actually, to have a sellout is even bigger than it might have been 5-10 years ago.
You're right, Christine, because I mean, you can have a named act that will come up and not sell out a venue, and I think this is what I said to the guys initially when we kind of came up with the idea. This is a powerful thing because we have such a history in Aberdeen individually, with so many people to pull on, and it's a nostalgic thing. It's a nostalgia thing. And we've all appeared in at the Beach Ballroom before in our own right with different bands and so forth. So it's really the feeling we get for people, and you really do get a feeling from them. It's a very warm kind of thing that you get from. Obviously, they're remembering back to their halcyon days and their young days and stuff. They met their wives and husbands at the Beach Ballroom and so forth. So it's a really nice atmosphere, and you can tell right, you just feel it when you walk on kind of stage. You go, wow, it's just got a wave, whoosh, and you go, oh, this is great, because that's so easy to perform to, because you're getting something from the audience, rather than you have to work, which you do a lot in this business. You have to work to get the respect.
It doesn't just happen.
No, you have to work at it. But this is a kind of different ball game. It just you get this wave of approval, if you like, and a knowing. They all know you. This is the thing, because they've kind of grown up with you as well. It just so happened that you played in the band while they were dancing or whatever. So it's
but you were. It's like you're all part of each other's histories, aren't you? It's
yes,
not.
That's right.
It's almost like with some big stars, it's like they're separate, but there are other stars, if you like, who are so much part of your life, and you've been so much, they wouldn't be stars without you. And I remember I did see Sonny Pierce once.
Okay. Yeah.
In La Lombardas, I think it was, and watched him, and he wasn't playing to an audience. He was part of what was going on.
Exactly.
You know, it was like it was very, very intimate, and he knew the people personally. They knew him, and it was just a different thing altogether.
Yes.
You know, it's very, very different.
There's always been a kind of affection, if you like, for these guys, because they've grown up with the people that they're singing to, you know. And it's a part of the same gang, if you like, and iconic kind of guys in their own right, in a small circle like Aberdeen, but very much so, you know. And this is why I came up with one of the songs that I wrote, because, and strangely enough, all the guys that were featured in the song that I wrote were all born in Torry. A kick in where I live in Menzies Road. So you go, oh, goodness me, that's strange. And they all made their mark, and there's not a person in Aberdeen doesn't know who they are. So, and now that Sonny's gone, and Tucker Donald and Bobby Vincent, I learned from these guys, and it's just nice to keep their memory going as well.
I think we might have that song.
I have it, yeah. We do have it here, and I have it here as well.
Okay,
Christine, yeah.
Right. Which one would you like me to play?
Well, let's go with the one that you've got queued up, and we can.
That's "Satisfy My Soul."
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
13. Let's see if we can get it to work, because it fell asleep.
It did.
Because we yapped it too long.
Exactly. It's fallen asleep. I get that all the time,
Do you?
Christine. I get people to shut up, man. Give somebody else a chance.
Satisfy my soul. Let the day begin. Make the evening roll. Let the big sky in. Satisfy my heart. It's so good to feel. Love is all around, and all the hurt will heal. Oh, this is what my heart needs to feel. Oh, this is what my heart needs to feel. Satisfy my soul. Take away this pain. Something has to end to begin again. Satisfy my heart. It's so good to feel. Love is all around, and all the hurt will heal. big sky and satisfy my heart. It's so good to feel love is all around, and all the hurt will heal. No, this is what my heart needs to feel. This is what my heart needs to feel. This is what my heart needs to feel. Need to feel, baby. This is what my heart needs to feel.
Satisfy my soul.
That's
Did it
lovely.
satisfy your soul, Christine?
Very nearly.
Good.
It takes a wee while these days, but that was.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Aye.
We're getting
I haven't heard that before.
No, it's a number, a song again written by Paul Carrick, a hero of mine, a great songwriter, great musician, and if I was ever lucky enough to aspire to his kind of level in the business, I would like to be like him, do my own thing in my own way, but I like his kind of philosophy and attitude to play, and he's not into all the hype and stuff like that. He just goes out there and does the business, and the people that have recorded some of his songs are phenomenal big artists that they are. Eagles, he was the voice, one of the voices. Mike Mechanics did a great lot of stuff. I mean, imagine the Eagles, the best-selling album band ever in the world, saying to you, I'd like to record one of your songs, Paul. Oh, God, what an accolade. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
And you likes your stuff.
Well, there we are, and that kind of blew me away as well. When I wrote this last song that I wrote, it's called We Really Had It All, and as I was writing it and actually recording it and mixing it, he kept popping into my head as should be him that sings this. Nobody knows me, you know. If it's Tory or the Beach Ballroom, I'm fine. Everybody knows me. So wouldn't it be nice if you could get one of your songs done by the likes of Paul Carrick? Give it to him, send it to him. And I said to him, do anything you want with it, because whatever you do, you'll improve it, and so forth. And that was that. And this letter pops in through the letterbox, and I just fell in the heap. And he's not. It was just so nice of him to say, apart from anything else, thanks very much for thinking about me, for sending me the song, but apart from anything else, you've done a great job.
Well
What?
crafted.
Well crafted.
Well crafted, yeah.
And this is from the guy that's written some of the best songs, I think, that have been. So, God, what can you say about that?
Absolutely. Wow. Paul Hazel's been on, and he says, blimey, I hope they wash the best china and silver. For Lady C and Sir George, leave the red carpet, he'll give it a beat and a sweep in the morning. He's thoroughly enjoying the show. You can beat and sweep anything you like, Paul Hazel. I won't be here early in the morning. Helen Patterson's been on. She says, I'm a jammy woman. Just a teenager again. I recycled. Helen Patterson. Helen, you've been a teenager recycled once or twice. And I'm so pleased that you're listening. And Karen is home. She's just home from her drumming.
Great stuff.
So thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to Christine Herron live on Shmu FM on Wednesday the 17th of November with my guest George Duncan, who has been sharing part of his life, his views, his memories, his music. Yeah. You've, I said earlier on, you've been everywhere. You've worked all over the world, haven't you?
I've been very lucky, and for a period of time, maybe in the mid-90s, through till the mid-2000s, I just had a itchy feet and a notion that I wanted to do something different, and there was something out there that I'd never done before, and I had to do it. If I didn't do it, I'd be disappointed because I hadn't done it. And it was just purely by coincidence, purely by chance. I used to subscribe to The Stage. It's like a variety paper. And they had a classified section with jobs for musicians and entertainers. And lo and behold, there's a tiny wee ad, which shocked me as well. A tiny ad saying, a guitar player looking for a guitar player for a cruise ship. So it sounds good, yeah. And I phoned the number and spoke to the gentleman on the other end of the phone. He said, "Do you have anything that you've recorded that you can send to me, and just to let me hear what you do?" Of course, I sent it off the same day. He said, I promise I will phone you back the very next day because it's important, because this job is coming up very quickly. And the phone rang. It was the brother of the musical director from the ship. And he said, "I've listened to your stuff." He says, "You're obviously very experienced and you've done a lot of things." I said, "Well, I have. And there's probably not a lot that I couldn't kind of turn my hand to, but you have to tell me what you're looking for." And he said, "Well, you're what we're looking for, and it would be kind of tomorrow. You would have to meet the ship." I said, "Which boat is it?" And I've never been on a ship in my life. He says, "It's a QE2. And I went, I think I dropped the phone. I went, QE2? He says, "Can you meet the ship at Southampton?" This was on the Tuesday. And I think, you're in Aberdeen? Yes. "Can you possibly get down to Southampton for Thursday? The QT will be docking at Southampton to go over to over the Atlantic, the Caribbean. It's, I think it was 3 months cruise." I said, "I'll do it." I had no
Yes, I
no
can do
second
that.
thoughts, because it was an opportunity, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. And apart from anything else, it was like, for an entertainer, it's like doing the Palladium, but in ship kind of thing. And to have that on your CV, I got more offers of jobs off the back of that than I would have ever been offered before, because again, nobody knows who you are, but you were working with well-connected people that
From
done some.
all over the world.
Oh my God! The band I was playing, it was a 17-piece band, and I was intrigued their history in the background, and I would sit in the crew mess till early hours in the morning, going, "Tell my story, tell my story, tell me who have you played with," and they were just reeling off names that you wouldn't believe, and you go, "Wow, this is great." And because I spent that much time on that particular ship, you were meeting people. Entertainers would come on board at different points of the cruise. They would fly over and do a cabaret and so forth. And when I returned to Aberdeen from that, the phone rang often, and really often, for very good jobs. And it came to the point I had to choose between either, there was one job, amazing, to play in a Budweiser bar that's just been opened in Tokyo. So this place held like 4,000 people or something like that. And there was an offer with another German band, which I ended up taking that one. I spent another 4 or 5 years with them, and we went round the world. They were based in Denmark. We played in Germany, played in the Caribbean again in a ship, Switzerland, Mallorca. We did summer seasons in a nightclub in Mallorca for 4 years. They'd already been doing it for 25 years, so it was a regular gig for them. So we would do 2 seasons, early summer season, have a break for a month, go and do things in Denmark and Germany and Switzerland, then come back to Mallorca and do the thing. It was a great time, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I really would. It was wonderful.
It certainly sounds it. We've had a text saying, "What a talented young man. Are there any more talented Duncans out there?" he asks. And then says he's only kidding.
There's quite a few, actually. Well, of course, Gary, and my other son, my oldest son, Stephen's not musically inclined, but he trained as an architect. He lives and works in Toronto now, and both him and his wife are both architects. And just a strange and often a tangent for him. He now appears on Canadian television. He's kind of presents a makeover program, if you like, like 60-minute makeover. And the girl Candice Olsen is her name. She's very well known in Canada and the States because the program is syndicated to the States. So there are millions of people watching this. And Stephen's kind of project manager. And when I saw him, he would send over a DVD. And Stephen, that's not him. I mean, the name, Stephen Duncan, project manager, blah, blah, blah. And he's doing all the bits to camera. Says he's in show business now as well. Yeah. And my brother Bill, he's a well-known magician in Aberdeen and has been for many years. So, yeah.
And there's
We're doing
also
okay.
there's also the presenter of the year here at Shmu.
Of course. How could we forget him?
How could anybody forget him? You wouldn't forget him for very long.
Exactly. I came across John after many, many years because obviously we're family and I knew his dad so very well.
That's probably all you needed to say. He said it, John. He said you were family.
But by the way, he does a great job as well. I love how his voice is and how it comes across on his own programme, and he deserves the accolade and the
He
title.
absolutely does.
Presenter of the year.
Presenter
Johnny
of the year.
D. Late night radio.
The king of late night radio.
King of late night radio. Sorry.
There you go. Do you want to say it again now you've had your practice shot?
It's the king of late night radio, Mr. Johnny D. Every Thursday.
There you go, John. What more can I do for you? What can I say?
I'll stick the invoice in the post, John.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You mentioned your sons a lot, and now I would imagine that many people who live the lifestyle you do would have possibly lost track of their children along the way. You
not at
managed
all.
to keep a hold of yours.
Yeah, it kind of worked the opposite way for me because of the job that I did, and I became kind of full-time professional early on in life. Maybe I was, I think, 23 when I became a full-time musician. So the boys, I was at home for both of them as well when they grew up. So it was a complete opposite kind of thing. I was there during the day because I worked nights. And it was great. I loved every minute, and I watched them growing up. You know,
So you would have been a house husband before it was fashionable?
Probably not a good one, but
I'm sure other people would have an opinion about it.
you're too right. Too many opinions. Too many opinions.
Too many opinions. You can't have
Everybody's
too many opinions.
got one.
He does say give us another tune.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Of course I will. I'll do a Paul Carrick song. This is a favourite of mine. This one, great words again, great lyrics, and this was one that Paul Carrick wrote, and it was also recorded by the Eagles. It's called Love Will Keep Us Alive. I was standing all alone against the world outside. You were searching for a place to hide, lost and lonely. Now you've given me the will to survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. Don't you worry, sometimes you just gotta let it ride. The world is changing right before your eyes. Now I've found found you, there's no more emptiness left inside. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. I would die for you, climb the highest mountains. Baby, there's nothing I wouldn't do. I was standing all alone against the world outside. You were searching for a place to hide. You're lost and lonely. Now you've given me the will to survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. Thank you very much. Love will keep us alive.
Yeah, what a beautiful song.
It's a great number. I love it. I love it. And again, a Paul Carrick song, and the guy that does the vocal with the Eagles, the bass player, Timothy, I've forgotten his last name, but never mind, does it completely different from Paul Carrick, but they both do it. They've made their own.
Yeah, made it their
own. Of
Yeah.
course, that's what I'm looking for. It's a great number. Great number.
I love it when people do that and don't, because many people when they play somebody else's song, they try to make it sound like they did, and if it was brilliant, then you can't do that.
No, that's right.
And John, the other, on his birthday bash, had Mike Black, who is a new local sensation. I mean, the boy's
brilliant.
just really, really good, and he did a cover of a really, really, really well known track, and it was like breathtakingly beautiful because
He did it
he
as him,
did
yes.
it as him,
Exactly.
and not as a cover. Yeah,
That's the difference. And again, if you can take you have the added bonus, because these are great songs anyway. So it doesn't matter if you play it with an orchestra, you play it with electric guitars, you play it with acoustic guitar, you play it with a flute. It still is a good song, and you have the opportunity to take that and craft it a wee bit to your own style, because it's all there for you to do that. And the best thing in the world is to have your own individual style, because people recognise your guitar playing. That's George is playing that. I can tell other guys just by hearing them, that's so and so playing a guitar. That's great, because you're making it your own, or your vocal. And I've heard Mike Black as well. He's talented young man.
he certainly is.
He's brilliant.
He certainly
He's
is.
brilliant.
Yeah. I would say that I was his biggest fan, but I'm absolutely not. But I think my 5-year-old granddaughter might be.
She loves him.
She absolutely adores him. I mean, like, majorly adores him. She thinks that she asked at one time if he was dead, because he was as good as Michael Jackson in a different way, and it's like,
God bless her.
wow. And she wants a Mike Black calendar for Christmas.
Oh, bless her.
Erin.
Cotton socks.
Yeah, she got into a fight at school, and because when we got
old
the
is she?
album, she's 5. No, she's not. She's 6. I'm sorry.
She's fighting at school. She's 6.
She got into an argument at school because her mum plays this album constantly.
Sure.
So the kids have learned the I've learned the words.
Of course, yeah.
And there's one that's very, very clever. It's street music, and he does the "Why don't you go home and just lie down? You should go home and just lie down. You know,
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
go home and it's just really, really clever. And of course, Ella just sings this constantly, and some other wee girl, that's not even a real song. Yes, it's my mum's got. So yeah, she's a Mike Black groupie.
She's a fan. She's a fan. Well, that's
yeah.
good. You can't take away anything from youth. She will relate and see something and hear something in Mike's stuff that, as a 6-year-old, how does that work? That she relates to so.
And it may well be that in times to come, you know, Mike Black's having a Legends
Yes.
with the young guys that John's
Exactly.
giving airplay to just now,
Definitely.
and they will all have experiences that your fan
They
base.
kind of have it. These guys that John features and has featured on his show, they have it quite hard. There's not the venues that we had to work. There were so many venues in Aberdeen that you could serve your apprenticeship in and so forth, but they're very few and far between now. And to get paid for something to do is so it's difficult. It really is. But all the best. He's really good. I've listened to the album, and he's a talented guy. He really is. I hope he does well. I'm sure he will. It's contemporary stuff. It's of the moment, and it's what's out there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff out there that's not as good as that. So
That's true. Yeah.
there we are.
There we are. So it's not all about good music's good music, whether it was from years ago or whether it was
That's
from
right.
from tomorrow. Good stuff's just good. What is there still to do? I mean, it seems as if you've done absolutely everything. Certainly locally, you've been around the world. Music's given you a good living.
It's been a great life. It's given me a good life, and I'm always aware and grateful for that. I go, there's so much to do. There's so much things that I have planned, and I hope I can do them all. And I've been inspired a lot in the last 3 or 4 years with doing these Aberdeen Legends show. It's sparked something in my head that's taken me down the road more as songwriting, and God, it's difficult to say at this particular time because it will come off. The last dance song that I wrote, I'm halfway through a musical version of based on that song, and it will be a nostalgic look back at the 60s and a story of a girl and a kind of love story with a twist, but music from that era and so forth. And this is all come from the light switches on. You go, oh, wait a minute, I've got so much, and calling it on all these memories that you have, and when you look at the people in the beach ballroom, I can remember when they were 17 and 18, and I'm going back to this time with this kind of musical idea. So I just have to do this, you know, and there's plenty of stuff there because if you make it happen, you have to have a focus and a positive slant, haven't you? That's what life's all about. If you take action and do it, it kind of falls into place and it will happen. If you believe in it enough, it will come to fruition. And it's like Blackpool rockets through me, and I don't know how to do anything else as well. So if you can do something averagely well, do it, and do it more, because you'll get better at it. So I've got all these things to look forward to, and sometimes before a new year coming up, you would kind of go, oh God, but I haven't had that for years. It's always that's that done.
Yeah.
That was a great year.
Yeah.
And this one got a bit better because there's so much things going on, So it's a frame of mind that you have to keep yourself in, and I'll get the things done, and I'm sure there are things out
You don't
there.
even know yet.
I don't know yet it's going to happen, which makes life that much more the richer. And as long as it's got to do with music or entertaining, it's never a job for me. It's fun. It's serious as well, but the serious bit is the part that the public or the people don't see, and they don't have to see that. That's your kind of torment you have to deal with to get things done. But it's never ever been a chore for me to stand on a stage for 3-4 hours and sing to people. It's, God, what a job. What a job. You know, when I look around at things that people have to do for a living, and they do it with dignity, and I just say to myself, I'm so lucky.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's an absolute joy to be doing work, to be getting paid for work that that you love doing, because very many people, and I think we've all been in situations where we've done the work we've had to do in order to keep us going and to pay the bills and whatever, and just to be able to be paid for doing something that you love
it's a bonus.
isn't it just?
It's a bonus, one big bonus, you know. I've never I've never experienced not looking forward to doing the thing. Never ever. I get great excitement and anticipation for every gig, and hopefully I can keep it like that, because it keeps you fresh and excited, and people feel this. It comes from you, and they get that from you, you know, and they can feel it as well. So it's our part of the business, you know. If you're enjoying it, they will. Simple formula.
Do you think that making your name locally was perhaps didn't give you some of the negative experiences that maybe national artists might have had?
I've never kind of thought on that level. I've always been aware of who I am and where I come from, as I said at the beginning of the show. And they would have once you cross that step or the barrier or the line, lots of other things come into play, and being a celebrity and stuff that wouldn't have been nice, and probably would take a lot people by surprise that this is how it really is.
Yeah.
And maybe we've got the good part in doing what we do. I don't know.
The reason that I asked is because you seem to have always had some control over what you've been doing. You know, you have this amazing job that it's like the thing that you love allows you can make your living doing what you love.
Yes.
But I get the impression that you've always had some control over that.
Yes.
Whereas to have the mega stardom, it's like all the control seems to belong to,
Of course it does.
somebody else.
Definitely. Well, you're kind of aware of that more and more now, because it's a celebrity culture, isn't it? We live in. We're bombarded with this stuff on a daily basis, and it's not real. It's negative. It's not good. So, you know, becoming famous is maybe not all it's cracked up to be, but let's have a try. If it's available, I'm available. You know?
You're old enough to cope with it now.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
I've got a question here. It's maybe two questions, and I don't understand it.
Okay.
And if you don't, we'll just move on.
I hope I understand.
It says, Bobby Vincent combo.
Yes.
Was that mouth organ train also at Broadsword Chili?
Yes, I can understand the question. I think they're saying is that correct? Bobby Vincent played the mouth organ. The Train was the name of a tune that he played, and that would have been
right.
it. Bob did appear at the Broadsword for a long time with the combo. It was a famous thing that Bobby did. He would start off slow with the mouth organ, sounding like a train, and the train would get faster, and he would get up to so much speed, and very difficult to breath control. And he was outstanding at that, absolutely breathtaking. And people, well, there you go, people remember him.
People remember.
He's been gone a few years now, but they still remember Bobby doing that stuff. And he would fill a venue. The combo, Bobby Vincent combo, used to play at the Waterton, huge place. They would fill that 4 nights a week. and they were very well known. They were great. And I learnt from Bobby as well. He taught me how to walk on a stage. He says, "Didn't I walk on like that, George? It doesn't look right. This is how you walk on." Oh, yes. I noticed that before. Bobby never used to come on with the rest of the band when they come on and started. The band went on first, and he would always be introduced as an individual. "Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome on stage the one and all Mr. Bobby Vincent," and he had this wonderful walk. You couldn't take your eyes off him, and I'm a mixture of all these little bits from different people, and subconsciously they're there, and you become what you do with a bit. There's never anything new.
There's nothing original.
There's
No, it's
nothing
all
original,
bits.
it's bits.
Yeah.
And I've just taken, and you get advice from other singers. "George, they sing it like that, and you'd be better if you did it. Your voice is kind of this," and right, because if you don't know, you don't know, and you need people like this to they're very nice and kind to help you to do this. So it's great. It's
Yeah.
great.
You've chosen another track. It's called "You and I," and it's.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Yes, this is a Stevie Wonder song, but it's sung by one of our Aberdeen legends. Sandy Davidson recorded this on an album not too very long ago. He does a great job, and it's particularly important that I wanted to let you hear this one, because Sandy was he's had a kind of upheaval in the last 3 months or so, and he was scheduled to sing this particular song for a very good friend of him and his wife Helen. The wedding was kind of 2-3 weeks ago, and Sandy couldn't do the wedding, and he couldn't sing this song. So I think it's important that we play it for the people, and it was going to be done for, I don't know, Kelly Dowdall's. Apologies if you're listening, I don't know your married name, but this was the song that Sandy was going to sing for you at the wedding, so this is him singing it now.
Here we are on earth together, it's you and I. God has made us to fall in love. It's true, I've really found someone like you. Will I stay? The love you feel for me, will it say that you will be by my side to see me through until my life is through? Well, in my mind, we can conquer the world. In love, you and I, you and I, you and I. I am glad, at least in my life, I found someone that may not be here forever to see me through, but I found strength in you. I only pray that I have shown you a brighter day, because that's all that I've been living for. You see, happens to me. 'Cause in my mind you will stay here always. In love, you and I, you and I, you and I, in my mind, we can conquer the world. In love, you and I, you and I, you and
You're listening to Shmu FM, you're listening to my grandma.
You certainly are. You are listening to Christine Herron here on Shmu FM with my guest, George Duncan. Both of us looking at life with a positive slant. Helen's been on again, asking me to excuse her bad manners. Helen, you're never bad mannered. I would excuse you almost anything. That was lovely.
Beautiful song.
Yeah.
And as Sandy always says, beautifully sung, Sandy.
It was
beautiful
a
sung.
beautiful
Yes,
voice. Absolutely
Great.
beautiful voice. Yep. Can we play? Can I play The Last Dance?
Please, yes, of course.
Because if I don't do it now, I won't get it done, and I really want to.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Of course.
This is George Duncan singing The Last Dance.
When I think of the years that have passed, we knew that our true love would last. Our dancing days now are over, just out of reach. We can still reminisce of those nights at the beach. All those memories, they still linger on. For a time now that surely has gone. Dances have changed, we're just out of reach. We can still reminisce of those nights at the beach. Won't you please save the last dance for me? It brings back a lifetime of sweet memories. The beach where we met such a long time ago. At the end of the dance, you whispered, I love you so. Won't you please save the last dance for me? Make it a slow dance, just you and me. The beach where we met such a long time ago. Dancing, romancing in the sweet afterglow. Won't you please save the last dance for me? Make it a slow dance for just you and me. The beach where such a long time ago. Won't you please sing the last dance for me?
That was probably the last dance then.
It very
Christine.
probably was.
Yeah.
It very probably was. What can I say? What can I say, George? Thank you so much for coming in.
It's a pleasure speaking to you. It really was. It was great fun.
It's been a real pleasure. Come back again next year. Tell us.
It seemed like
tell us
10
more.
minutes to me. Seemed
Well,
like 10
it
minutes.
does fly by when you're having fun, or so you say.
No, and to be able to speak for 2 hours without someone saying, stop speaking.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure knowing that you were out there. Thanks to everybody who took part and to everybody who didn't. I am just going to put the music up now because we're going to be heading into the news. But remember, if you hit rock bottom this week, you hang on in there because you just never know. Things just might get better. You take care. Speak with you soon. Bye for now.
Show me prejudice and greed, and you showed me how much love to do.